Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Artificial Fluency. I'm your host, and before we dive into today's powerful lesson, I want you to think about something. How much time did you spend yesterday making small decisions? What to wear, what to eat for lunch, which route to take to work, whether to respond to that text message right away or later? Here's what might surprise you. Research shows that the average person makes about 35,000 decisions every single day. And here's the problem. Many of us get stuck on even the smallest choices, going round and round in circles, overthinking everything until we're exhausted and overwhelmed. Today, we're going to change that forever. Over the next 60 minutes, we'll explore proven strategies to make decisions faster, smarter, and with more confidence. You'll learn essential English vocabulary for discussing choices, problems, and solutions, while discovering practical techniques that successful people use to cut through confusion and take purposeful action. So get comfortable, maybe grab a notebook, because today we're mastering both decision-making skills and the English to talk about them confidently. Teaching note. Going round and round in circles is a common expression meaning to think about something repeatedly without making progress. Cut through confusion means to find clarity despite complicated or unclear information. Today's comprehensive lesson is organized into 7 powerful strategies, each building your English skills while teaching you life-changing decision-making techniques. First, we'll examine the problem of overthinking, why our brains get stuck, and the cost of indecision. Second, we'll learn Strategy 1, protecting your decision energy, how to save your mental power for what matters most. Third, we'll explore Strategy 2, labeling decision types, Jeff Bezos' framework for knowing which decisions deserve deep thought. Fourth, we'll discover Strategy 3, feel first, then think. Why emotions are essential for good decisions. Fifth, we'll practice Strategy 4, the 10-10-10 rule, gaining perspective on choices through time. Sixth, we'll master Strategy 5, regret simulation, using fear of regret as a tool, not a trap. And finally, we'll implement Strategy 6, identity-based decisions, making choices that align with who you want to become. Each section includes practical vocabulary, real-world examples, and techniques you can use immediately. If you liked this lesson, don't forget to hit the like button, comment, and subscribe to the channel so you can keep improving your English with us. Let's start by understanding why decision-making has become so difficult in our modern world and learn the English vocabulary to describe these challenges. The overthinking epidemic. Many people today overthink, procrastinate, and keep going round and round in circles with the same thoughts. We're overwhelmed by the amount of information and the amount of choice available to us. In this environment, our attention is being farmed by countless distractions. Teaching note: procrastinate means to delay or postpone doing something, especially something important. Overwhelmed means feeling like you can't handle everything that's happening. Attention is being farmed is a modern expression, meaning companies are deliberately trying to capture and profit from your attention. Overthinking vocabulary. Overthink procrastinate, and keep going round and round in circles. Overwhelmed by the amount of information. Overwhelmed by the amount of choice, attention is being farmed. It's not clarity, it's clutter. Here's a key insight. You don't have a clarity problem, you have a clutter problem. Before making decisions, we ruminate, we spiral, we crowdsource, we overthink. Instead of thinking clearly, our minds become filled with too much information and too many opinions. Teaching note: ruminate originally means what cows do when they chew food repeatedly, but for humans, it means to think about something over and over again, usually in an unhelpful way. Spiral here means your thinking gets worse and more confused. Crowdsource means asking many people for their opinions. The science of decision fatigue. Stanford research reveals that excessive deliberation reduces decision quality by up to 25% due to something known as decision fatigue. This mental and emotional strain is backed by ego depletion theory, which shows we have a limited pool of mental energy. When this energy is depleted, we respond in two ways: avoidance, doing nothing at all, or impulse, choosing the easiest or most familiar option. Decision fatigue. Vocabulary. Excessive deliberation reduces decision quality. Decision fatigue. Ego depletion theory. Limited pool of mental energy. Avoidance, doing nothing. Impulse, choosing the easiest option. The cost of small decisions. This exhaustion from small decisions actively reduces your ability to think clearly, leading to loss of willpower and self-control. This explains why successful people like Steve Jobs, Barack Obama, and Mark Zuckerberg minimize daily micro-decisions to preserve cognitive energy for bigger choices. As one expert puts it, every should I adds up. Every let me think one more time drains fuel. The reality is that excessive deliberation weakens judgment, and the best decisions are often made with a clear, rested mind. Real-life examples of decision fatigue. Morning decisions. What to wear to work. What to have for breakfast. Which route to take to the office. Whether to check email before leaving. By the time you arrive at work, you've already made dozens of small decisions, and your mental energy for important work decisions is reduced. Evening decisions. What to watch on Netflix. What to order for dinner. Whether to exercise or rest. When to go to bed. These seem minor, but they accumulate throughout the day. Teaching note: micro decisions are very small, everyday choices. Drains fuel is a metaphor comparing mental energy to gasoline in a car. Both can be used up. Accumulate means to build up or increase over time. Why our brains struggle with modern choices. Our brains evolved to handle simple survival decisions. Is this food safe? Is this person dangerous? But now we face thousands of complex choices daily. Which smartphone should I buy? Should I change careers? Which Netflix show should I watch? The modern world presents us with what psychologists call choice overload. When we have too many options, we often take longer to decide, feel less satisfied with our choice, experience more regret later, and sometimes avoid choosing altogether. Choice overload examples: grocery stores with 40-plus breakfast cereals, streaming platforms with thousands of movies, dating apps with endless potential matches, career paths that didn't exist 20 years ago. The vocabulary of modern decision challenges: choice overload, avoid choosing altogether, feel less satisfied with our choice, experience more regret later. Cultural differences in decision-making. Different cultures approach decisions differently, and it's useful to understand these patterns. Individual versus collective decision-making. Western cultures often emphasize personal choice and individual responsibility. Eastern cultures may prioritize family input and community consensus. Neither approach is right or wrong, they reflect different values. Time orientation. Some cultures make quick decisions and adjust later. Others prefer lengthy deliberation before committing. Understanding these differences helps in international business and relationships. Teaching note: personal choice emphasizes individual freedom to decide. Community consensus means group agreement. Lengthy deliberation means taking a long time to think about and discuss something. The emotional cost of indecision. Beyond the practical problems, chronic indecision creates emotional suffering, anxiety and stress. Analysis paralysis creates constant worry. Fear of making the wrong choice prevents action. Perfectionist tendencies make every decision feel crucial. Missed opportunities. While you're deciding, opportunities pass by. The perfect time rarely exists. Waiting for certainty often means waiting forever. Relationship strain. Indecisive behavior can frustrate partners, friends, and colleagues. Flip-flopping on decisions damages trust. Others may lose confidence in your judgment. Teaching note: analysis paralysis means being unable to make a decision because you're thinking too much about it. Flip-flopping means changing your mind repeatedly, like a fish flipping back and forth. Perfectionist tendencies means the habit of wanting everything to be perfect. Decision-making vocabulary summary: analysis paralysis, fear of making the wrong choice, perfectionist tendencies, the perfect time rarely exists, waiting for certainty, flip-flopping on decisions. Key learning points for overthinking: procrastinate means to delay important tasks. Ruminate means to think about something repeatedly in an unhelpful way. Crowdsource means to ask many people for opinions. Micro decisions are small, everyday choices. Analysis paralysis means being unable to decide due to overthinking. Now that we understand the problem, let's learn the first strategy for making better decisions: protecting your mental energy for what truly matters. The energy management approach. Think of your decision-making ability like a smartphone battery. It starts full in the morning, but drains throughout the day. The key is to prioritize big decisions early in the day when your cognitive energy is highest. Teaching note: this comparison between mental energy and a smartphone battery is called an analogy. We use analogies to explain complex ideas by comparing them to something familiar and easier to understand. 4 techniques for energy protection. 1. Prioritize big decisions early in the day. Make significant decisions early in the day when your mind is fresh and your willpower is strongest. This is why many successful people review important proposals first thing in the morning, schedule crucial meetings before lunch, tackle complex problems before dealing with emails. Early decision vocabulary. Make significant decisions early in the day. When your mind is fresh, your willpower is strongest. First thing in the morning, before dealing with emails. 2. Batch small decisions. Group routine choices and decide them in advance. Instead of deciding what to wear each morning, plan your outfits the night before or even a week in advance. Examples of decision batching. Meals. Plan all meals for the week on Sunday. Clothing. Organize outfits for the entire work week. Routes. Always take the same route to work unless there's a specific reason to change. Schedules. Block similar activities together. All phone calls in one block, all emails in another. 3. Use pre-made criteria. Establish simple rules for recurring decisions. If X, then I always do Y. This eliminates the need to think through the same decision repeatedly. Examples of pre-made criteria. Work. If a meeting can be handled by email, I decline. Health. If I have a choice between stairs and elevator, I take stairs. Social. If I'm invited to events on Sunday evening, I politely decline to protect my preparation time for Monday. Financial. If something costs more than $100, I wait 24 hours before buying. Teaching note: pre-made criteria are rules you create in advance to help make decisions automatically. Recurring decisions are choices that come up repeatedly in your life. Pre-made criteria vocabulary. Establish simple rules for recurring decisions. If X, then I always do Y. This eliminates the need to think through the same decision. I politely decline. Wait 24 hours before buying. 4. Filter for significance. The most powerful technique is learning to stop overthinking things that won't matter in 5 years. This includes what not to overthink. Insignificant replies, long emails about minor issues. External approval, what strangers think about your choices. Comparisons, how your path differs from others. Past events, decisions you've already made and can't change. What does deserve your energy? Relationships, who you spend your time with. Health, habits that affect your long-term well-being. Career, opportunities that could change your trajectory. Values, choices that reflect who you want to be. Teaching note, filter for significance means to separate important things from unimportant things. Won't matter in 5 years is a useful test for determining what's truly important. Trajectory means the path or direction of your life or career. Significance filtering vocabulary. Stop overthinking things that won't matter in 5 years. Insignificant replies. External approval. What strangers think about your choices. Affect your long-term trajectory. Aligned with my long-term goals. Spending valuable mental energy on something trivial. Practical implementation this week. Let's make this concrete with specific actions you can take. Monday morning energy audit. List all the decisions you made yesterday. Identify which ones drained your energy unnecessarily. Choose 3 small decisions to automate or batch. Create your if-then rules. Write down 5 if-then statements for your most common recurring decisions. For example, if someone asks me to a social event on a weeknight, I ask for 24 hours to consider. If I'm choosing between 2 similar restaurants, I pick the closer one. If I can't decide between 2 good options, I choose the one that scares me slightly more. Decision protection strategies. Environmental design. Lay out clothes the night before. Prepare healthy snacks in advance. Keep your workspace organized to avoid small decisions about where things are. Technology helpers. Use phone settings to limit decision-making. Automatic do not disturb, scheduled messages. Create templates for common email responses. Use meal planning apps to eliminate daily food decisions. Social boundaries. Learn to say, "Let me check my calendar and get back to you," instead of immediately saying yes or no. Ask for decisions in writing when possible to avoid pressure. Practice saying, "That's not something I need to decide right now." Teaching note. Environmental design means organizing your physical space to make good decisions easier. Social boundaries are limits you set in relationships to protect your time and energy. Common mistakes to avoid. Overbatching. Don't try to plan every detail of your life. Some spontaneity is healthy and energizing. Rigid rules. Your if-then statements should be guidelines, not absolute laws. Allow for exceptions when they make sense. Perfectionist planning. Don't spend more energy planning your decision-making system than you would spend on the actual decisions. Key learning points for energy protection. In advance means before something is needed. Batch, as a verb, means to group similar things together. Pre-made criteria are rules you create beforehand. Trajectory means the path or direction of your life. And energy audit means examining how you spend mental energy. Not all decisions deserve the same amount of mental energy. Let's learn Jeff Bezos' framework for categorizing decisions and the English vocabulary to discuss different types of choices. The Bezos framework. Type 1 versus Type 2 decisions. Amazon founder Jeff Bezos revolutionized decision-making by recognizing that not all decisions deserve the same energy. He categorizes decisions into two types. Type 1 decisions, irreversible and high stakes. These are think deeply decisions. They're critical choices that are difficult or impossible to reverse. Examples include choosing who to marry, deciding to build Amazon Web Services, selecting a university for your degree, choosing to have children, making major career changes. Type 2 decisions, reversible and low stakes. These are decide fast decisions. Most decisions fall into this category. Examples include applying for a new job. You can quit if it doesn't work out. Starting a side business. You can close it if needed. Choosing early Amazon fulfillment center locations. They could be changed. Deciding which restaurant to try. Picking a new hobby to explore. Teaching note. High stakes means the consequences are very important or serious. Low stakes means the consequences are not very serious. Irreversible means you cannot undo or change the decision. Reversible means you can change your mind later. Decision type vocabulary. Not all decisions deserve the same amount of mental energy. Irreversible and high stakes, think deeply. Reversible and low stakes, decide fast. Difficult or impossible to reverse. Most decisions fall into this category. The paralysis trap. The biggest mistake people make is treating every decision in life like life or death, which leads to paralysis. Most situations have more than two options, and most choices can be adjusted if they don't work out perfectly. Breaking free from all or nothing thinking. Instead of seeing only two options, train yourself to find alternatives. Example, career dissatisfaction. Limited thinking. I either stay in this job forever or quit and risk everything. Expanded thinking. I could transfer departments, negotiate remote work, reduce hours, look for similar roles elsewhere, develop new skills while staying, or gradually transition to something new. Example, relationship problems. Limited thinking. We either stay together and be miserable or break up. Expanded thinking. We could try counseling, take a break, change our living situation, work on specific issues, seek individual therapy, or gradually improve our communication. Teaching note. All or nothing thinking is a psychological term for seeing only extreme options and missing middle ground possibilities. Life or death is an exaggeration, meaning extremely serious, when most decisions aren't actually that crucial. The recovery question. Here's Bezos's practical test. Ask yourself, if I choose wrong, can I recover? If yes, then act. If no, then investigate further. This simple question helps you categorize decisions quickly. Can recover equals act fast. Trying a new restaurant, taking an online course, joining a social club, changing your hairstyle, starting a new exercise routine. Cannot easily recover, think deeply. Getting married, having children, buying a house, choosing a medical treatment, moving to another country permanently. Teaching note. Recover in this context means to bounce back or return to your previous situation. Investigate further means to research and think more deeply about the decision. The 70% information rule. Bezos recommends most decisions should probably be made with around 70% of the information you wish you had. Waiting for 90% leads to slowness and inaction. Perfection is a trap, and speed creates momentum. Why 70% works? You have enough information to make a reasonable choice. You avoid analysis paralysis. You can adjust based on new information later, and you maintain momentum and forward progress. When to wait for more information? Type 1 decisions with permanent consequences, legal or medical decisions requiring expertise, financial commitments beyond your resources, situations involving other people's safety. Teaching note. Momentum means the force that keeps something moving forward. In decision making, it means the energy and progress that comes from taking action. Analysis paralysis means being unable to decide because you're overthinking. Information and action vocabulary. 70% of the information you wish you had. Waiting for 90% leads to slowness and inaction. Perfection is a trap, and speed creates momentum. Maintain momentum and forward progress. Avoid analysis paralysis. Practical application questions. For every decision you face, ask these 3 questions. If I get it wrong, is the damage small or permanent? Small damage equals type 2, decide quickly. Permanent damage equals type 1, think carefully. Can I test this on a small scale before going all in? Yes. Start with a small experiment. No. Gather more information first. Will delaying this decision cost me opportunities? Yes. Set a deadline and decide. No. Take reasonable time to consider. Testing decisions on a small scale. Many apparent type 1 decisions can be converted to type 2 by testing first. Career change example. Instead of immediately quitting your job to start a business, you could start the business as a weekend project. Take on freelance work in your target field. Volunteer in the industry to learn more. Shadow someone doing the work you want to do. Take a sabbatical to test your new direction. Relationship example. Instead of immediately moving in together, you could spend more nights at each other's places. Take a longer vacation together. Try sharing some household responsibilities. Have deeper conversations about future goals. Meet each other's extended families. Teaching note. Going all in means committing completely to something without holding back. Shadow someone means to follow them around and observe their work. Sabbatical is a break from work, often for learning or personal projects. The enemy of speed. Bezos notes, the enemy of speed is not caution, it's confusion. Clear thinking enables fast action. Confused thinking leads to endless deliberation. Sources of confusion. Too many opinions, asking everyone for advice without filtering. Information overload, researching beyond the point of usefulness. Perfectionist standards, waiting for the perfect solution. Fear-based thinking, focusing only on what could go wrong. Comparison paralysis, trying to find the single best option among many good ones. Creating clarity. Define your priorities. What matters most in this decision? Set constraints. What are your non-negotiables? Limit inputs. Choose 2 to 3 trusted advisors rather than asking everyone. Time box research. Give yourself a deadline for gathering information. Focus on good enough. Look for the best option you can find, not the theoretical perfect one. Teaching note. The enemy of speed is not caution, it's confusion. Information overload. Perfectionist standards. Comparison paralysis. Define your priorities. Set constraints and non-negotiables. Time box research. Focus on good enough. If you liked this lesson, don't forget to hit the like button, comment, and subscribe to the channel so you can keep improving your English with us. Key learning points for decision types. High stakes means serious consequences. Low stakes means minor consequences. All or nothing thinking means seeing only extreme options. Momentum means the force that keeps things moving forward. Going all in means committing completely without holding back. And non-negotiables are things you will not compromise on. This might surprise you, but neuroscience shows that good decisions require both emotions and logic. Let's explore why feelings are essential for smart choices and learn the vocabulary to discuss emotions in decision-making. The neuroscience of decision-making. Renowned neuroscientist Antonio Damasio discovered something revolutionary. We are not thinking machines that feel. We are feeling machines that think. His research proved that we make our decisions emotionally, then justify them logically. Teaching note. Antonio Damasio wrote a famous book called Descartes' Error about this discovery. René Descartes was a philosopher who believed thinking was separate from feeling, but Damasio proved this is wrong. Justify means to provide reasons or explanations for something. The famous patient studies. Damasio studied patients with damage to the ventromedial prefrontal cortex, the brain area connecting emotional processing with rational thinking. These patients could reason logically perfectly well, but they couldn't make basic decisions because they were emotionally numb. For example, they could spend hours deciding whether to use a blue pen or black pen, analyzing every possible consequence, but never feeling that either choice mattered enough to simply pick one. The conclusion? Without emotion, logic stalls. Teaching note: emotionally numb means unable to feel emotions normally. Logic stalls means logical thinking stops working effectively, like when a car engine stalls and stops running. The brain area mentioned is complex, but the important point is that emotions and thinking are connected. Emotion and logic vocabulary. We are feeling machines that think. We make decisions emotionally, then justify them logically. Couldn't make basic decisions. Emotionally numb. Without emotion, logic stalls. Your emotional compass. Think of emotions as your internal navigation system. You feel something first: desire, fear, excitement, guilt. Then your brain builds a logical story to support or justify that feeling. The logic is the cover, the emotion is the compass. This doesn't mean emotions are always right. Sometimes they're influenced by past wounds, current stress, or external pressure, but they provide crucial information that pure logic cannot. Examples of emotional intelligence in decisions. Job opportunity. Pure logic. This job pays 20% more and has better benefits. Emotion included. This job pays more, but I feel anxious about the company culture and excited about staying with my current team. Better decision. Consider both the logical benefits and the emotional signals. Relationship choice. Pure logic. This person checks all the boxes on paper. Emotion included. This person seems perfect logically, but I don't feel energized or authentic around them. Better decision. Recognize that compatibility involves both practical factors and emotional connection. Teaching note. Internal navigation system compares emotions to GPS or a compass that helps you find direction. The logic is the cover, the emotion is the compass means logic often hides or disguises the real emotional reason for our choice. The 3-step emotion check-in. Before making any significant decision, practice this process. Step 1. Name the dominant emotion. Ask yourself, what am I feeling about this choice? Is it excitement, fear, shame, pressure, envy? Common decision emotions include excitement. This opportunity energizes me. Fear. I'm worried about the risks involved. Shame. I feel like I should want this, but I don't. Pressure. Others expect me to choose this. Envy. I want this because someone else has it. Guilt. I feel bad about considering this option. Step 2. Assess trustworthiness. Ask, is this emotion trustworthy, or is it distorted by past wounds? Trustworthy emotions often feel connected to your values, consistent over time, clear rather than confused, energizing rather than draining. Distorted emotions might be based on old fears that no longer apply, influenced by what others think you should feel, reactions to past hurts rather than present reality, driven by comparison or competition. Teaching note: dominant emotion means the strongest feeling you have about something. Distorted by past wounds means your past negative experiences are affecting how you feel about current situations in unhelpful ways. Step 3. Engage logic. Make decisions from wholeness, not habit. Use your emotional intelligence to inform logical analysis, not replace it. Questions for integrating emotion and logic include: what is my emotion telling me about this situation? What would I decide if I felt completely neutral? How can I honor both my feelings and my practical needs? What would I advise a friend who had both these emotions and these facts? Emotion check-in vocabulary. Name the dominant emotion. Is it excitement, fear, shame, pressure, envy? Is this emotion trustworthy or distorted by past wounds? Make decisions from wholeness, not habit. Honor both my feelings and my practical needs. Trusting your initial reaction. Often, our initial gut response contains important wisdom. Don't ignore your intuition. Stop mistrusting your first reaction, because it's often your deepest wisdom. However, this doesn't mean always following your first impulse. Instead, pay attention to initial reactions as valuable data. When first reactions are usually helpful. Meeting new people. You often sense their character quickly. Evaluating job opportunities. Your immediate response to the work environment. Choosing creative projects. What energizes versus drains you? Assessing living situations. How a space feels to you. When to question first reactions. When you're tired, hungry, or stressed. When the reaction seems based on prejudice or past hurt. When the stakes are very high and emotion might cloud judgment. When you're being pressured to decide quickly. Teaching note: gut response and intuition both refer to immediate feelings or knowledge that seem to come without conscious reasoning. Deepest wisdom suggests that these feelings often contain important truth about what's right for you. The overthinking versus soul signal. Sometimes what feels like overthinking might be your soul saying no. If you find yourself endlessly analyzing a decision that should feel good, consider whether your deeper self is trying to tell you something. Signs your soul might be saying no. You keep finding reasons why a good opportunity isn't right. You feel tired when you think about moving forward. You're trying to convince yourself to want something. You feel relieved when obstacles appear. You keep postponing action on something you should want. Signs your soul might be saying yes. Despite logical concerns, you feel energized by the possibility. you find yourself naturally making time and space for this choice. Obstacles feel like challenges to overcome, not reasons to quit. You feel expanded rather than contracted when you imagine moving forward. Teaching note: your soul saying no is a metaphorical way to describe deep, intuitive resistance to something. Contracted versus expanded refers to whether thinking about something makes you feel closed and small or open and energized. Cultural considerations for emotional decision-making. Different cultures have varying attitudes toward emotions and decision-making. Western approach often emphasizes follow your heart and personal fulfillment. Eastern approach may prioritize family harmony and collective well-being. Business culture sometimes values objective analysis over subjective feelings. Relationship culture often considers emotional compatibility as essential. Understanding these cultural differences helps you communicate about decisions across different contexts. Teaching note: follow your heart means making decisions based on your feelings and values. Collective well-being means what's good for the group rather than just the individual. Objective analysis means looking at facts without personal bias. Practical exercises for emotional intelligence. Daily emotion naming. Each morning, identify how you feel about your major activities for the day. This builds emotional vocabulary and self-awareness. Decision journaling. For important choices, write down both your logical analysis and your emotional response. Notice patterns over time. Body awareness. Pay attention to physical sensations when considering options. Does your body feel tense or relaxed? Does your breathing change? Teaching note: physical sensations often give us information about our emotions before we're consciously aware of them. Tension, changes in breathing, or stomach feelings can all be emotional signals. Key learning points for emotional decision-making. Justify means to provide reasons or explanations for something. Emotionally numb means unable to feel emotions normally. Dominant emotion means the strongest feeling about something. Gut response refers to immediate feelings without conscious reasoning. Following your heart means making decisions based on feelings and values. One of the most powerful tools for gaining perspective on decisions is the 10-10-10 rule, created by business journalist Susie Welch. This strategy helps you zoom out for perspective and avoid decisions you'll later regret. The power of time perspective. As Susie Welch discovered, most regrets aren't from what we choose, but from not zooming out. We get so focused on immediate concerns that we lose sight of what really matters in the long term. The 10-10-10 rule asks 3 simple questions. How will I feel about this in 10 minutes? How will I feel about this in 10 months? How will I feel about this in 10 years? Teaching note: zoom out for perspective means to step back and look at the bigger picture, like using a camera to zoom out and see more of the scene. Lose sight of means to stop focusing or forget about something important. 10-10-10 rule vocabulary. Most regrets aren't from what we choose, but from not zooming out. Lose sight of what really matters. How will I feel about this in 10 minutes, months, or years? How the brain responds to time questions. This technique activates the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, the brain region responsible for long-term thinking, which helps reduce impulsive errors. When you ask these time-based questions, you literally engage different parts of your brain. Teaching note: the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex is a complex brain term, but the important point is that thinking about the future uses a different part of your brain than thinking about immediate concerns. This helps you make better decisions. Real-world applications. Let's apply the 10-10-10 rule to common decisions. Example 1. Should I quit my job to travel? 10 minutes. I'll feel excited and terrified. My heart will be racing. 10 months. If it goes well, I'll feel grateful and adventurous. If it goes poorly, I might feel worried about money and career gaps. 10 years. I'll probably be glad I took the risk while I was young. I doubt I'll regret the experience, even if it was challenging. Decision insight. The long-term perspective suggests this could be worth the short-term anxiety. Example 2. Should I have an uncomfortable conversation with my friend about their behavior? 10 minutes. I'll feel nervous and worried about their reaction. 10 months. If I don't speak up, I'll probably feel resentful. If I do speak up respectfully, our friendship will likely be stronger. 10 years. I'll respect myself for being honest and caring enough to address the issue. Decision insight. Short-term discomfort leads to long-term relationship health. Example 3. Should I buy this expensive item I want, but don't really need? 10 minutes. I'll feel excited about having it. 10 months. I probably won't think about it much, and I might feel guilty about the money I spent. 10 years. I definitely won't care about this purchase, and I might wish I'd saved the money for something more meaningful. Decision insight. The excitement fades, but the financial impact lingers. Teaching note. Heart racing means your heart beats very fast due to excitement or nervousness. Resentful means feeling angry because you think someone treated you unfairly. Discomfort means feeling uncomfortable or uneasy. The voice recording technique. Susie Welch recommends speaking your answers aloud and recording them because speaking activates deeper truth. There's something about hearing your own voice that reveals insights you might miss when just thinking silently. Why speaking helps. It forces you to organize your thoughts clearly. It reveals emotions through tone of voice. It makes abstract feelings more concrete. It helps you notice contradictions in your reasoning. And it creates a record you can review later. How to use voice recording. Find a private space where you can speak freely. State the decision you're considering. Ask and answer each 10-10-10 question out loud. Listen to the recording with curiosity, not judgment. Notice which time frame carries the most emotional weight. Teaching note: activates deeper truth means that speaking out loud helps you access more honest and complete thoughts. Abstract feelings are emotions that are hard to pin down or describe clearly. Time perspective vocabulary activates the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. Long-term thinking reduces impulsive errors. Speaking activates deeper truth. Reveals insights you might miss when just thinking silently. Makes abstract feelings more concrete. Which time frame carries the most emotional weight? Common patterns in 10-10-10 responses. After using this tool regularly, you'll notice patterns. Career and risk-taking decisions. 10 minutes, often anxiety and excitement. 10 months, usually concern about practical details. 10 years, frequently regret for chances not taken. Relationship decisions. 10 minutes, worry about immediate conflict or awkwardness. 10 months, appreciation for honest communication. 10 years, gratitude for authentic relationships. Financial decisions. 10 minutes, immediate pleasure or immediate sacrifice. 10 months, practical consequences become clear. 10 years, values-based choices feel most satisfying. Health and lifestyle decisions. 10 minutes, often resistance to change. 10 months, beginning to see benefits of good choices. 10 years, major appreciation for consistency in healthy habits. Teaching note: chances not taken refers to opportunities you didn't pursue. Values-based choices are decisions that align with what you believe is important in life. Adapting the time frames. While 10-10-10 works well for many decisions, you can adapt the time frames. For daily decisions, 1 hour, 1 day, 1 week. For major life changes, 1 month, 1 year, 10 years. For career decisions, 6 months, 2 years, 10 years. For relationship decisions, 1 day, 6 months, 5 years. The key is choosing time frames that feel meaningful for your specific situation. Questions for different decision types. Creative projects. How will I feel if I start this project? How will I feel if I don't pursue this creative opportunity? What will I think about my creative courage in the future? Educational opportunities. How will I feel about investing time and money in this learning? How will this knowledge serve me in my career? What will I think about my commitment to growth? Social commitments. How will I feel about saying yes or no to this invitation? How will this choice affect my relationships and energy? What kind of social life do I want to have built? Teaching note: creative courage means the bravery to pursue artistic or innovative projects despite uncertainty. Commitment to growth refers to your dedication to learning and improving yourself. Integration with other strategies. The 10-10-10 rule works best when combined with other decision-making strategies. With Type 1 versus Type 2 framework, Type 2 decisions focus on 10 minutes and 10 months. Type 1 decisions give extra weight to the 10-year perspective. With emotional check-ins, notice which time frame creates the strongest emotional response. Pay attention to whether your emotions shift across time frames. Use the long-term view to evaluate whether current emotions are trustworthy. With energy protection, use the 10-10-10 rule for significant decisions only. Don't apply this tool to routine choices. Remember that some decisions aren't worth extensive analysis. Advanced 10-10-10 questions. Once you're comfortable with the basic technique, try these deeper questions. Character development. What kind of person will I become if I make this choice? How will this decision reflect my values over time? What will I be proud to tell my future self? Legacy and impact. How will this choice affect the people I care about? What kind of example am I setting? How does this align with the impact I want to have? Learning and growth. What will I learn from this experience? How will this challenge help me develop? What skills or wisdom might I gain? Teaching note. Legacy refers to what you leave behind for future generations. The impact I want to have means the difference you want to make in the world. Common mistakes with the 10-10-10 rule. Overanalyzing small decisions. Don't use this tool for choosing what to have for lunch. Save it for meaningful choices. Ignoring the 10-minute perspective. Sometimes immediate feelings matter. Don't dismiss short-term consequences entirely. Perfectionist predictions. You can't perfectly predict the future. Focus on likely outcomes, not every possible scenario. Skipping the emotional component. Don't just think about practical consequences, include how you'll feel about the choice. Key learning points for time perspective. Zoom out for perspective means to look at the bigger picture. Lose sight of means to stop focusing on something important. Abstract feelings are emotions that are hard to describe clearly. Chances not taken refers to opportunities you didn't pursue. Legacy refers to what you leave behind for future generations. Fear of future regret often warps our present choices. But we can use regret as a tool for better decision-making rather than letting it paralyze us. Let's explore how to simulate regret constructively. The problem with predicted regret. Harvard research reveals that, quote, predicted regret is often exaggerated. We tend to overestimate how bad we'll feel about future mistakes and how long those feelings will last. This fear of future regret warps present choices, often keeping us from taking beneficial risks. Teaching note. Predicted regret means imagining how bad you'll feel about something in the future. Warps means to twist or distort something out of its normal shape. Here, it means fear changes our decision-making in unhelpful ways. The difference between reactive and deliberate regret. Quote, regret feels real, but it's a simulation. We have to use it deliberately, not reactively. Reactive regret. What if this goes wrong? What if people judge me? What if I look foolish? Focuses on avoiding embarrassment or criticism. Usually keeps you stuck in safe but unfulfilling choices. Deliberate regret. What if I never tried this? What will I think at 80 if I always played it safe? How will I feel if I let fear make all my decisions? Focuses on avoiding a life unlived, usually pushes you toward growth and meaningful risks. Teaching note. Reactive means responding immediately to emotions without thinking carefully. Deliberate means done on purpose with careful thought. A life unlived means a life where you didn't pursue your dreams or take meaningful risks. Regret simulation vocabulary. Predicted regret is often exaggerated. Fear of future regret warps present choices. Regret feels real, but it's a simulation. We have to use it deliberately, not reactively. Avoiding a life unlived. The North Star question. Here's the most powerful regret simulation question. If I choose this and it fails, will I respect who I become anyway? This question reveals your real North Star, your integrity, not your outcome. It shifts focus from external results to internal character development. Examples of North Star thinking. Starting a business. Outcome focus. What if the business fails and I lose money? Integrity focus. If I try my best and learn from the experience, will I respect my courage regardless of the financial result? Difficult conversation. Outcome focus. What if they get angry and our relationship is damaged? Integrity focus. If I speak honestly and kindly, will I respect myself for being authentic regardless of their response? Creative project. Outcome focus. What if no one likes my work? Integrity focus. If I create something meaningful to me, will I be proud of my artistic expression regardless of others' opinions? Teaching note. North Star is a metaphor. The North Star is a bright star that historically helped travelers navigate because it doesn't move. Your North Star means your guiding principle or most important value. Courage over safety. The regret simulation often reveals this truth. Stop holding back just to stay safe. Safety won't comfort you at 80. Most people's biggest regrets aren't about mistakes they made, but about chances they didn't take. The relationship they were too scared to pursue, the career change they never attempted, the creative project they never started, the trip they never took, the conversation they never had. Stop letting fear make your decisions. It's not the one who has to live with them. Teaching note. Holding back means not giving your full effort or not taking action due to fear. Fear make your decisions means letting fear control your choices instead of making conscious decisions. The regret reversal technique. Instead of asking, what if it goes wrong? Ask, what if I never tried? Traditional fear questions. What if I fail? What if people criticize me? What if I waste time and money? What if I'm not good enough? Regret reversal questions. What if I never know what I'm capable of? What if I always wonder, what if? What if I let fear keep me small? What if I never give my dreams a chance? Practical regret simulation exercise. For any significant decision, try this 5-step process. Step 1. Identify your fears. Write down what you're afraid will happen if you take the risk. Step 2. Reality check your fears. Ask, how likely is this? How bad would it really be? Could I recover? Step 3. Simulate action regret. Imagine yourself in 10 years having taken the risk? What regrets might you have about the action you took? Step 4. Simulate inaction regret. Imagine yourself in 10 years having played it safe. What regrets might you have about the chances you didn't take? Step 5. Compare and choose. Which scenario leaves you with deeper regret? Usually, the answer points toward the right choice. Teaching note. Reality check means to examine something to see if it's realistic or reasonable. Inaction means not taking action, staying passive. Types of regret we actually experience. Research shows most life regrets fall into these categories. Education regrets. I wish I had studied something I was passionate about. I wish I had taken my education more seriously. I wish I had learned a language when I was younger. Career regrets. I wish I had taken more professional risks. I wish I had pursued my original dream job. I wish I had stood up for myself more at work. Relationship regrets. I wish I had been braver in expressing my feelings. I wish I had maintained better friendships. I wish I had forgiven people sooner. Personal development regrets. I wish I had traveled more when I was younger. I wish I had taken better care of my health. I wish I had been more confident and authentic. Notice that most regrets are about things people didn't do, not things they did. Teaching note. Stood up for myself means to defend yourself or assert your rights when someone treats you unfairly. Cultural perspectives on regret. Different cultures have varying attitudes toward regret and risk-taking. Western individual culture often emphasizes following your dreams and not having regrets. Eastern collective culture may focus more on family responsibility and community obligations. Business culture sometimes values calculated risks over playing it safe. Academic culture often emphasizes thorough analysis before major decisions. Understanding these perspectives helps you identify which cultural messages might be influencing your regret simulations. Teaching note. Calculated risks are carefully thought out risks where you've considered the potential consequences. Community obligations refer to responsibilities you have to your community or social group. The 80-year-old self technique. One powerful regret simulation is imagining a conversation with your 80-year-old self. Questions to ask your future self. What do you wish I had been braver about? What risks do you think were worth taking? What would you tell me about this decision I'm facing? What mattered most in creating a fulfilling life? Common answers from the 80-year-old perspective. I wish you had worried less about what others thought. Take the trip, start the project, have the conversation. Your health and relationships matter more than your career achievements. The things you're stressed about now won't matter much later. Be kinder to yourself. You're doing better than you think. Practical applications for common decisions. Should I change careers? Traditional fear is, what if I can't succeed in the new field? Regret simulation is, what if I spend 30 years in a job that drains me? Should I move to a new city? Traditional fear is, what if I don't like it and can't make friends? Regret simulation is, What if I never explore new possibilities and always wonder what life could have been like? Should I end an unsatisfying relationship? Traditional fear is, what if I end up alone? Regret simulation is, what if I waste years in a relationship that doesn't fulfill either of us? Teaching note, drains me means takes away my energy and makes me feel tired or empty. An unsatisfying relationship is one that doesn't make you happy or fulfilled. Balancing regret simulation with practical concerns. Regret simulation shouldn't ignore practical realities. Consider both your future emotional well-being and your current responsibilities, the person you want to become and the people who depend on you, your dreams and growth, and your financial security, taking meaningful risks and being reasonably careful. Red flags in regret simulation. Using regret simulation to justify reckless behavior, ignoring the real impact on others, focusing only on dramatic changes while ignoring incremental improvements, letting fear of ordinary regret push you toward extraordinary risks. Teaching note. Red flags are warning signs that something might be problematic. Reckless behavior means taking dangerous risks without thinking about consequences. Incremental improvements are small, gradual changes. Key learning points for regret simulation. Predicted regret means imagining how bad you'll feel in the future. Warps means to twist or distort out of normal shape. Deliberate means done on purpose with careful thought. North Star means your guiding principle or most important value. And reality check means to examine if something is realistic. The final and perhaps most powerful strategy is making decisions based on who you want to become rather than just what you want to achieve. This approach creates alignment between your choices and your deepest values. Beyond smart, seeking alignment. Instead of asking what's smart, ask what's in alignment. This shift connects your decisions to your deeper purpose and authentic self, following ancient Vedic wisdom that suggests the right action aligns with your true nature. Teaching note. In alignment means in harmony with your values, goals, and authentic self. Vedic wisdom comes from ancient Indian philosophy and spirituality, emphasizing living according to your true purpose. The 3 identity questions. For every significant decision, ask yourself, what kind of person do I want to become? Which decision reflects that version of me? What am I willing to lose to protect that? These questions shift focus from external outcomes to internal development, from short-term gains to long-term character building. Identity-based decision vocabulary. What's in alignment with your deeper purpose? Aligns with your true nature. What kind of person do I want to become? Which decision reflects that version of me? What am I willing to lose to protect that? Examples of identity-based thinking. Career decision example. Outcome-based thinking. Which job pays more money? Identity-based thinking. I want to become someone who contributes meaningfully to society. Which opportunity allows me to develop skills that serve others while growing professionally? Relationship decision example. Outcome-based thinking. Which person makes me feel good about myself? Identity-based thinking. I want to become a person capable of deep, authentic love. Which relationship challenges me to grow in emotional maturity and genuine care for another? Financial decision example. Outcome-based thinking. How can I make more money quickly? Identity-based thinking. I want to become financially responsible and generous. Which choices build long-term wealth while allowing me to help others? Teaching note. Contributes meaningfully means to make a positive difference that matters. Emotional maturity refers to the ability to handle emotions wisely and relate to others in healthy ways. Writing your future self description. Write down your future self in 3 bullet points and make your choice as them, not as the current you. Example future self descriptions. Version 1. The creative professional. Someone who balances artistic expression with financial responsibility. A person who inspires others through authentic, creative work. An individual who maintains curiosity and continues learning throughout life. Version 2. The compassionate leader. Someone who leads with empathy while making difficult decisions. A person who develops others and creates opportunities for team growth. An individual who stands up for values even when it's uncomfortable. Version 3. The balanced family person. Someone who prioritizes relationships while pursuing personal goals. A person who models healthy work-life integration for their children. An individual who creates a home environment of love and growth. Teaching note. Balances here means to manage 2 different things equally well. Work-life integration is a modern concept meaning blending work and personal life harmoniously rather than keeping them completely separate. Decision-making from your future self. Once you've defined your future self, make decisions as if you're already that person. Current self might think, I don't have enough experience for this opportunity. What if people judge my choice? I'm not ready for this level of responsibility. Future self would think, this opportunity will help me develop the experience I need. People's opinions matter less than my authentic growth. I'll grow into the responsibility by accepting it. The most important decision. Deciding who you become is the most important decision you'll ever make. This meta-decision influences every other choice in your life. When you're clear on your identity, other decisions become easier because they're filtered through this clarity. Identity clarity benefits. Faster decision-making, you know what fits your identity. Less regret, your choices reflect your values. Greater consistency, your actions align with your character. Increased confidence, you're living authentically. Better relationships, people know who you really are. Teaching note, a meta-decision is a decision about decisions, a choice that influences how you make other decisions. Filtered through means examined or evaluated using certain criteria. Common identity archetypes. While everyone is unique, people often identify with certain character types. The creator values artistic expression, innovation, bringing new ideas to life. The helper values service to others, making a positive impact, supporting people's growth. The leader values guiding others, making important decisions, taking responsibility. The scholar values learning, understanding, sharing knowledge with others. The builder values creating systems, organizations, or structures that last. The explorer values adventure, discovery, pushing boundaries and limits. Practical identity exercises. Values clarification. List your top 5 core values. Examples are honesty, creativity, family, justice, growth, freedom, security. Ask how each decision supports or conflicts with these values. Role model analysis. Identify 2 to 3 people you admire. What qualities do they embody that you want to develop? How would they approach your current decision? Legacy visualization. Imagine your memorial service or retirement party. What do you want people to say about who you were and how you lived? Daily identity practice. Each morning, ask, who do I want to be today? Each evening, reflect, did my actions today reflect my authentic self? Teaching note. Embody means to represent or be a good example of certain qualities. Legacy refers to what you leave behind, your impact on the world, and how people remember you. Identity versus ego. It's important to distinguish between authentic identity and ego-driven image. Authentic identity, based on your values and genuine desires for growth, consistent across different situations and relationships, focuses on contribution and character development, flexible and open to evolution. Ego-driven image, based on how you want others to perceive you, changes depending on the audience, focuses on status and external validation, rigid and defensive about change. Questions to test authenticity. Am I choosing this because it reflects who I am or because of how it will look? Would I make the same choice if no one would ever know? Does this decision feel energizing or draining to my true self? Teaching note. Ego-driven means motivated by pride, self-importance, or the desire to look good to others. External validation means approval or praise from other people. Authentic identity is who you really are, not who you pretend to be. Cultural and family identity influences. Your sense of identity is shaped by many factors. Family expectations, what your family believes you should become. Cultural background, values and roles emphasized in your culture. Professional identity, how your career shapes your sense of self. Social groups, the influence of friends and communities you belong to. The key is distinguishing between inherited identities and chosen ones. Which aspects of your identity did you actively choose? Which were given to you by others' expectations? How do you want to integrate or modify these influences? Identity integration for English learners. As English learners, you're already engaged in identity work. How does learning English change how you see yourself? What opportunities does English fluency create for your future self? How do you want to integrate your original culture with English-speaking contexts? What kind of global citizen do you want to become? Teaching note. Inherited identities are aspects of who you are that come from your family or culture. Chosen identities are aspects you actively decide to develop. Identity integration means combining different parts of yourself into a coherent whole. Key learning points for identity-based decisions. In alignment means in harmony with your values and authentic self. Emotional maturity refers to handling emotions and relationships wisely. Meta decision is a decision that influences how you make other decisions. Archetypes are universal character types found across cultures. Legacy refers to what you leave behind and how you're remembered. As we reach the end of our comprehensive journey through decision-making mastery, let's integrate everything we've learned and create your personal action plan for making better choices with confidence. The 7-strategy framework summary. Strategy 1. Protect your decision energy. Make important choices when your mind is fresh. Batch small decisions and create if-then rules. Stop overthinking things that won't matter in 5 years. Strategy 2. Label decision types. Type 1, irreversible or high stakes, think deeply. Type 2, reversible or low stakes, decide fast. Use 70% of information rather than waiting for perfect certainty. Strategy 3. Feel first, then think. Emotions provide essential information for good decisions. Name your dominant emotion and assess its trustworthiness. Make decisions from wholeness, not habit. Strategy 4. The 10-10-10 rule. Consider how you'll feel in 10 minutes, 10 months, and 10 years. Speak your answers aloud to activate deeper truth. Let long-term perspective guide short-term choices. The English learning connection. These decision-making strategies directly support your English learning journey. Energy management. Study English when your mind is freshest. Batch similar practice activities. Automate routine language choices. Risk assessment. Treat most English mistakes as type 2 decisions, low stakes and reversible. Take more speaking risks, knowing you can learn and adjust. Emotional intelligence. Notice your feelings about different English activities. Excitement often points toward effective learning methods. Time perspective. Consider how you'll feel about your English efforts in 10 years. This perspective often motivates consistent daily practice. Regret simulation. Ask, what if I never become fluent? Rather than, what if I make mistakes? This shifts focus from perfection to progress. Identity development. Decide who you want to become as an English speaker. Someone confident, professional, creative. Let this identity guide your learning choices. Final wisdom. Remember these transformational principles. Stop waiting till you're perfect. Just start. Stop waiting to feel certain. Progress builds confidence. Stop waiting till you feel ready. Confidence comes after, not before. Stop waiting for approval. Most people are too scared to even try. Stop waiting for it to be easy. What transforms you rarely is. Stop waiting till you have more time. You make time for what matters. Your decision-making identity statement. Complete this sentence and carry it with you. I am someone who makes decisions with confidence, wisdom, courage, alignment, because I value your core values and I'm becoming your future self-identity. Strategy 5. Regret simulation. Ask, what if I never tried? Instead of, what if it goes wrong? Focus on integrity rather than just outcomes. Remember that safety won't comfort you at 80. Strategy 6. Identity-based decisions. Ask what kind of person you want to become. Make choices as your future self, not your current self. Align decisions with your deepest values and authentic nature. Your weekly decision-making challenge. This week, implement the Decision Mastery Trio. Monday, Tuesday, energy protection. Identify your peak decision-making hours. Create 3 if-then rules for recurring choices. Batch 1 category of small decisions. Wednesday, Thursday, type classification. Categorize 3 pending decisions as type 1 or type 2. Apply the 70% information rule to one choice. Practice asking, can I recover if this goes wrong? Friday to Sunday, identity integration. Write your future self-description in 3 bullet points. Make 1 decision from your future self perspective, and reflect on alignment between your choices and your values. Your homework is powerful but simple. This week, make 1 decision using these strategies and share your experience in the comments. Tell us which strategy felt most helpful and what you discovered about your decision-making patterns. Thank you for investing these 60 minutes in both your English skills and your decision-making mastery. If this comprehensive lesson helped you understand how to cut through confusion and make choices with confidence, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and share it with someone who struggles with overthinking. Remember, no decision is a decision. Your brain's anterior cingulate cortex hates uncertainty. That's why indecision feels like anxiety. But action reduces anxiety, not certainty. The path forward isn't about having all the answers. It's about making thoughtful choices and adjusting as you learn. Once you choose, do something physical within 5 minutes. Call the person, send the email, book that ticket, cancel that plan. Action conquers anxiety. Not staying the same, not overthinking, not figuring it all out, actually moving forward. Until next time, trust your ability to make good decisions, embrace the growth that comes from both successes and mistakes, and keep improving your English and your life with us.